Now, we are in a position to make sure that we have guards on a lot of trains. We're certainly in a position to make sure we will have one on... Yeah. And we'll talk about... Well, we'll talk about this in a minute. Just let me take us through, and I'm more than happy to listen to anything you've got to say and answer directly any of those questions. We certainly will make sure we've got someone on every train after 8 o'clock at night. We know that kind of people are genuinely fearful of crime and antisocial behaviour on the network of an evening. And
there's also the question of the trains. On a train, I've never heard on the television a scenario about, say, some young woman travelling from Southport home after a night out getting harassed by somebody sexually, or a young man by himself getting beaten up by a band of people, which is a common thing on those routes, or an accident on the line. And who is going to deal with that, particularly if the driver has been damaged himself, or even killed, or somebody taken ill on a train? How is that going to be dealt with?
People have disabilities in old age. Some of the platforms don't have any staff to help them once they get off the train. The train disappears in the distance and they're standing there wondering how to, say, get up some steps or down some steps. Of course, there are the general things. If you take ill on the train, how can a driver intervene on that? And unless you get someone specifically trained to do that, the guards are able to do that. This is what it's going to mean, that people who could be saved would die as a result of their illness.
My first employment was as a boy labourer when I was 15 at Camel Aids, and the wage I received was £1.95 in modern money for a 45-hour week. That wasn't per hour, that was a week. When I handed my wage packet to my mother, she said to me, "I'll clothe you and I'll feed you. Here's £5 bob for your spends." And of course it did go quite further than that. Camel Aids were unable to give me an apprenticeship, so I moved up the river to Bromborough Dock and worked at the Westminster Dredging Company. I wanted to become a plater boilermaker because it suited me in terms of the few skills that I had got. I could read a plan, and I was quite good at geometry, which you needed for that particular job. When the strike began, it was in my last year when I was 20, and the Confederation of Shipbuilding and Engineering Unions had put in a claim on behalf of the apprentices, and it was for a 52.5% of the skilled rate for 15-year-olds, rising to 90% for the age of 21 of a tradesman's rate. At that time, unskilled labour and semi-skilled labour, in comparison with apprentices, got far more money than we did. This raises the question of strike action by young people, and particularly the apprentices. Now, the Scottish TUC and the AU Policy Conference both supported the claim and gave sustenance to the apprentices when they came out on strike. In a statement in Glasgow, 10,000 apprentices came out, and they said, "We've waited 6 years and we're not going to wait another minute."